Hey, Fino. We got a ton of designs for the Flame Legendary weapon, but I just kind of want to get your approval first so we can, like, pick one. Alright, so we got this one, this one, this one. Oh my god, these designs, they're all... Dog! Let me show you something that I came up with. So, instead of this stupid, good-looking, aesthetically fitting design, I'm gonna copy from my favorite game, Blade Ball. I mean, I don't know if people are gonna like that, but I mean, I guess that's fine. The weapon is also gonna be a great sword. We already have like 3 great swords. I don't know if that's like a really good idea. Also, every M1 is gonna apply flame. That's actually not that bad. I mean, it's a flame legendary. It kind of makes sense. It's also gonna slow you down by 30%. Why would it need to slow you down? So you can land the crits. Crits. It means it's gonna have multiple crits. Whatever. I guess like 2 or 3 is fine. 5. It's going to have 5 crits, each of which does a bar. And when we release it, we're not going to test anything. You're fired. Whatever. Pyre Keeper is quite possibly one of the worst designed things in the entirety of Deepwoken. And I love it. I don't know why Fino decided that a weapon should have 5 crits, including a crouch crit. Like, I mean, who's gonna use that? But oh my god, it's just so satisfying every time you land one of them. So let's talk about the crits. You have 5 different ones. You have the standing one, the crouching one, the sliding one, the running one, and the midair one. Each of these crits have some unique properties that make them kind of special. Before I do that, I'm going to talk about some of the stats of the weapon. So number 1, Pyre Keeper inflicts burn damage on every M1. It's like a built-in blazing, but better, I'm pretty sure. Also, for some reason, the flames, like, they slow you down. Who thought that was a good idea? Also, let's talk about the ridiculous damage. On release, I'm pretty sure this thing was doing like a bar with minimum stat requirements on every crit. And that joke I made about not testing, I'm like 90% sure they actually did no testing on the weapon. Let me talk about my build real quick though. So when I looked up like Pyre Keeper builds, I saw a bunch of people recommending like Contractor and Dawnwalker. But as soon as I figured out that it did like flame on every M1, I knew I had to pick Jet Striker. This is because there's some insane synergy between Flame and Jet Striker. If you have Emperor Flame and you do like the M1 and it flourishes them, that counts as like an actual flourish. And so it activates Jetstream Pursuit and it teleports to your opponent while you're still doing the crit. And on top of that, you can combine that with Explosive Finish if you just use a mantra after that. So you do another explosion. This combo was so effective that I immediately went to like top 300 in Chime, and I was like regularly beating top 250s. And I'm boosted, I'm bad at the game. So let's get to the crits. So Pyre Keeper, you know, it's got the 5 crits, it's got running, standing, crouching, sliding, and jumping, right? And all these crits have unique properties that make them like uniquely overpowered. So starting with the default one, right, the one you're gonna use the most, the standing crit. The standing crit, it does 2 slashes and has total hyper armor. I don't think people realize just how overpowered total hyper armor is. If someone's approaching you and they're gonna hit you with like an attack, you can just use your crit and force them to like cancel that attack and force them to parry. Otherwise, they're just gonna take like half of our damage. Another really cool thing about this is that the first hit of the crit applies flame. So the second slash that you can do can actually proc Emperor Flame even if you didn't have it before. Next crit, the crouching one. This is probably the weakest one out of them, but it's actually still really good. Comes out significantly faster than the standing crit. And so, you know, you can kind of use it as like a mix-up tool. Unfortunately though, it does not have hyper armor, so you gotta be careful of that. Next, we got the running crit. This one does like a grab and it like swirls them around and then throws them. This is actually really good because it applies flame the second it hits them, so while they're getting thrown around, they're also getting burned. This also has hyper armor and has another unique property about it. If you hit them with the running crit while they're blocking, it'll still actually apply like the final slash, and that can kind of like catch them off guard. Next, we got the sliding crit. This might be like the second best one. It doesn't have hyper armor, but it is multi-hit and it has a ton of range. Because of this, it makes it actually like super easy to proc Emperor Flame. Finally, we got the jump crit. This one's on the weaker side as well, but it's also still pretty good. It has hyper armor, and it has a second delayed hit whenever it hits the ground. Only problem with this one, though, is that it's kind of lacking range a little bit. So that's my thoughts on Pyre Keeper. Big shout out to Neem. He grinded like 20 hours after it came out trying to get the weapon for me. So that was pretty cool. Subscribe. But also to Neem as well.